welcome to the second video of my online video tutorials on how to set up a virtual recording and video. So this is the second video out of two. This video I'm going to be showing you all about Final Cut Pro and how to edit that video together to get a nice virtual performance going. So carrying on from the last video, if you haven't seen that, check it out because that's all about the audio mixing that we did. So let's get started. So following on from yesterday, we're going to go to step one, which is setting up for your project. So we have our final MP3 mix over here, and we also have the MP3s that we use to create that audio file, and we also have the videos that we downloaded from whatever sharing site we're using. So Google Drive, Web Transfer, OneDrive that I use, loads of different things. So we've got them all saved in here. So we're going to open up Final Cut Pro. And Final Cut Pro will always open with the last project that you've done. So if you've not done anything, this screen will be completely blank here. And you're going to hit File, New, and Library. So this is creating a new library where everything is going to be saved for this project. So for example, I've got some in here already. I've got a GarageBand tutorial, which I did yesterday. And there's something else I was working on for my job here. So I'm just going to call this one Faith. And save that, and that will wipe everything from up here. So we've got no media saved in the library Faith, so we need to add our media. So we simply click import media up here, and it'll open up all the files on your computer. So you just simply find where you saved your videos. And if you select the top one all the way down to the bottom, select all and import selected, and that will load all your videos in that you also need to mix this. So that's them all loaded here. You can see all the individual playing videos here, and if you hover over a video and hit the space bar, it'll start playing that video, so you can see everyone's videos over here. Something that I quite like to do at the beginning of all my videos is add a logo, so the council logo that I've been working on, and a title page, so you can also add all that in as well to this section here. So that import media button has gone because we've got things in our library, but it's still up here in the top left hand corner, so you can select that and it will take you back to this page here. So I would quite like my council logo, which I've named logo, and that will import it into this bit as well. Let's see if we can find it. So it orders itself by date, which can be quite tricky. So 26th of October 2020 was when I saved that picture to my computer, so that's why it's so far down. And we also want the audio as well that we created yesterday, so I'm just going to import that into this library. Faith. Mix, import, and there it is there. So that's what the audio track looks like. So the next thing we're going to do is step two, which is setting up a new project. So exactly the same way as we set up a library, but we want it saved in this Faith library over here. So we hit File, New, and then Project. Now this will be the final video here, so we want to call it Faith. In event, so as you can see it's matched up the event over here, so just to keep it all in the same place, I'll just leave that and hit OK. So here we go, we've got a blank project here and a completely blank working space down here. The next thing we're going to do is add in a title page just to make it nice and clear and neat. It's something that I quite like to do. So you've got all this working space up here, you've got where your imported videos are. Once you select videos, it will come up with options over here to either make the video lighter, darker, and you can alter each individual video as well. And this screen here is where your final video is, so you can see what you're working on and see what the video is going to look like as well. So I quite like putting in a title page. So over here, we've got the videos that we've imported. We've also got camera and music over here, where we can insert some other photos and music from our computer. And we've also got here, which is the titles and generators, which is where we can get our text. So we're going to click this here. And there are so many different presets that are already loaded in with Final Cut Pro, so you can kind of go around and pick your favorite one that you like to do. So you can scroll through. You've got like a Star Wars sort of theme here. You've got sort of a disco light thing here. You've got loads and loads of different things. The good thing about this as well, if you want to see how the titles run before you add it to your video, you can hover over, click on the selected one and hit the spacebar. And it will give you a little demo just to show you what it will look like with your text. And we'll do it again over here. So click, hit the spacebar, and you can see exactly how it will look. So it's entirely up to you what you'd like to do. There's so many different options in Final Cut Pro for text. I like to keep things quite simple and neat, so what I do is I hit centered. I quite like that. It's very plain, not too much going on. Text will come up and it will go away again, but some people might want to have a little bit more fun with theirs. So to add it to our video, we just simply click and drag it down into our project. Now this will always pop up when you first add something, because it's just making sure that it's got all the right settings for you. So you've got your video format where you can change the format, so you can make it 1080p, 2K, 4K, and custom settings as well. These are all quite advanced things here, so I just tend to leave it as it is, because all I want is just a HD video that people can watch on YouTube and Facebook, so I just hit OK. I'm quite happy with those settings. So automatically here we've got our title and subtitle here, and as you can see on the right hand side, it's come up with all of these selections here. So that's to edit your text. So I double click and it will come up with that, so I can edit this title. So I'll call it Faith. So you can either double click on the letters here, or you can go over into this little text bar over here as well if it's a bit too fiddly. And subtitle, I'll change to by Perth and Ross's Big Band, just so people know who's performing before we even start. So I quite like our council logo in there as well, so I can add that, but these are kind of in the middle and it's a bit annoying. So you can hit this tiny little button in the middle here and move it down. Now that yellow line's appeared because it's telling you that that is absolutely bang in the middle of the video. So I would quite like to keep it there. And also this is snapped into position here. So you've got this yellow cross over the top, and that's telling you that the bottom of those letters are right in the middle of the screen. So that's your kind of snap screen area there. You can just click and drag down until you're happy. There's also the options over here to have it aligned to the left, in the middle. You can make the text bigger. You can change the font up here as well. It'll give you all these options. I'm quite happy with that as it is, so I'll just leave it for the time being. If you scroll down as well, you've got the option of changing the text to a 3D sort of text. By hitting show, you've got all these little options in here as well. So you've got the depth, how 3D you want it to look, where it's going to go back to, all these little things that you can play around with just to make the font a bit better. I'll turn that off because I'm okay with that. You've also got the choice of an outline as well and a glow. So the outline, you can choose any colour, so you can fill the line with colour. You can drop down this section here. Let's change it to a nice navy sort of greeny blue sort of colour, because that's the colour of our council badge, just to match. You can also change how bold it is just by sliding this along. How blurred it is as well, so you can have it quite blurry, so you can see it looks more like a glow there by sliding that along, or you can have it straight, and the width of it as well. You can choose how big you want your outline to be. So I'll leave that on there, I'm quite happy with that. And glow as well, so I'll just show you glow. So you can have a little glow on the back of your lettering. So you can change the opacity and the radius as well, so you can see that there's a tiny little yellow glow in there. It's not very clear, but you can see it changing there as I slide this up and down. So lots of things to play about with to make your video exactly the way you want it to be as well. So to add the logo, we go back to here because this is where we saved all our videos and photos and audio. So I'll just click on this. Here we are. Scroll down to the bottom and then I click on the logo and that will fill with a yellow box right here. So that is a selection of the video or photo that I want to use. Obviously it's a photo so it doesn't change and it doesn't really matter. Same again, just click and drag down. Now you can see that I've layered that onto here. So rather than putting it to the side for it to play after, like that, I can layer it on the top. So obviously this logo is now blocking the text. So we can play about with that image just to crop it and move it exactly where we want it. So we'll highlight this so it goes yellow and you want to move the cursor back over so you can see what you're working with. So you want it right in the middle of the screen that you're working with. So to get rid of all these text things at the side, you can just highlight this. So this little slider button will get rid of that and that will give you a bigger screen to work with. Over here, this button here. So we've got the transform and crop and distort. So we can change everything about the videos. We also have a color match. That's if someone's brightness is too high on their phone, for example, and you want it to be the same brightness as everyone else. You can match the color with another video. That's quite technical, but you can just leave it as it is. And also here, you can speed up and slow down a type of video as well. Again, we won't need to know anything about that, but it's just handy to know that it's there. So if a player was playing too slow in a section and you wanted to make it look like they were playing at the same speed as anyone else, you can alter that just by using that one here. But we're going to go back to this transform and crop button here. So I've just hit that button and it's highlighted automatically with transform. So that means if I click on these blue dots here, I can alter the size of the image just by sliding it back and forward. I can also lengthen it, shorten it, but I'd like it quite natural, so I'll just undo that. And also there's a center button here again. With this blue button on the side of that means you can rotate the image as well. Again, I'll just undo that because I'd like my logo straight. So I can move this up. So we've got the council badge in there. I can also get rid of all this because I feel like there's too much of the surrounding background around the logo, so we don't really need that. So I'll hit crop down here. And these change into straight lines now, and the straight lines allow you to just crop the image. So I'll bring those all the way in and up a bit. And I'm quite happy with that, so I'll turn this off just by clicking on it, and I'm quite happy with the placement of that logo there. And I'll just play this to see what it looks like. There we go, quite happy with that. So the logo stays in the same place, but because of the font I've chosen, that comes in and out, as you can see there. If you want the logo to also fade in and out, there is a transition button that I will get onto later on. So step 4, adding audio. So we want the base of our video to be the audio, since that's what we're working with. So we go up to the audio and we highlight it. Automatically it will highlight the whole audio because we've not used it yet. Again, click and drag down. So you always want the audio to be in this little black bar there, because then you can work above that. And that is your base layer for this video. So because you've already edited the audio in GarageBand, you don't need to touch the audio here. It's literally just a click and drag down, and that is it. That's your base layer for your video. Step 5 is adding your video to your audio. There is a program called Motion that links up to Final Cut Pro where you can add a video to the audio and then save it as one video. So it saves a lot of toing and froing, but I will be honest, I've not played about with it that much. So all I do with Final Cut Pro is use my eyes and ears, basically, way back to basic. So here's Lorna. I can skim through her video just by going over it with my cursor. I'll click on our video. Again, it automatically highlights the whole video. And I can click and drag the sides of these yellow boxes so I'm not adding the complete video in. So I'll just play from the beginning of the yellow. There we go. I'll just use that wee section. Again, I'll just click and drag it down. So I can't really see much and can't work very well because it's not zoomed in enough. So all you can do is press Z on your keyboard for zoom. It'll bring up a little magnifying glass and you just click on the video and then it zooms in for you so it's easier to work with. There we go. So the video starts here, but Lorna doesn't play until later on. So if we watch how behind she is, so we can line up her audio with the track. So we click and drag the video exactly like we did in GarageBand and move her over there. So we can play it again. So she's near enough, exactly in time with the track. Once we're happy with that, we go to this little sound bar underneath her video there. Click and drag it all the way down because we don't want to hear her. We just want the audio. There we go, I'm happy with that. But I want her video to end here where the saxophones come in. So I'll put the white marker there and I'll click and drag along and it will snap into this marker. So when the saxophones come in, Lorna's video will disappear. Just like that. So then I can add a saxophone player into this next section. So here's Innes here. There we go, so that's his point of entry. There we go, I'll move that and click and drop it in there. So he starts playing there, but I need him to start playing here. So I'll move the white cursor to make it a bit easier. And I'll just get rid of all that empty space at the beginning. And I'll snap it back to where he plays. There we go. Again, with the audio, I don't want to hear him, so I'll just get rid of that. And it will look something like this now. There we go, and I'll stop him there, because that's where the trumpets come in. So where the white cursor is, I will just drag and get rid of that video there. There we go. So let's add a trumpet player in now. So who have we got? Let's go for Mr. Barker, trumpet one. Again, same thing, just repeating everything that I've done before. Finding where he plays. There we go. Making it a bit smaller. And just dropping it in. So I got that pretty accurate there with him. So he's a little bit too fast, so what I will do is just move him back slightly and fill in that empty space. There we go. And get rid of his audio. So now, there we go. And I'll stop it there because that's where everyone plays. So the white marker's there. And I'll get rid of all that empty space. And then what I would like is all these three to be seen at the next section. So this bit here. So what I can do is drag Innes along. So it lifts up Mr. Barker's video. I'll pull it all the way to there because that's where the next section starts. There. But I don't want Innes there, so I can highlight his video and press Command and B, and that blades the video, so it cuts it in half. And I can slide this along to match it up. And then I'll do the same with Mr. Barker, because I know it's all lined up already with the music. Select his video and Command B. If you don't have a Mac and want to blade, it is in the trim section here. So you've got blade and then you've got blade all as well. So if you've got a stack of videos lined up here, you select all of them and then hit blade all, and that will cut all the videos in half. And then I'll do the same for Lorna. So drag her all the way along select our video, cut our video where I want it to be, and just slide that back. You can leave the video underneath there if you want, because Innes's video is on top of Lorna, so you won't see her. But just to keep it all nice and neat and tidy, so I know where the changes are happening, I'll just blade it back so it keeps it nice and clean. So this leads me on to step 6, which is layering the videos. So as you can see, we've got a stack of videos here, but we can only see Innes up here, which is a bit annoying because we want to see all 3 of them. So we can need to crop and transform the video. So I'll show you how to do that. And it's exactly the same way as we used with the council logo at the beginning. You can do the same with video as well. So because Innes is at the top, I'll start working with him. So I'll highlight his video and move over to the transform and crop section. So I'll hit transform, it brings up this box, and I will just slide him over here. Just like that. And I'll use my eye to crop and see where about 1/3 of the screen is. So I'm gonna guess there for the time being. And just exit out of that, okay? So now we have Mr. Barker. So I'll highlight him, transform his video, and I'll move him over to this side using this yellow bar to help me keep the video straight. And I will crop his video in so we can see Lorna. And again, I'll use my eye to judge where about 1/3 of the screen is. Now Lorna's a little bit off center, so we can select her, hit transform, and just move her into a position where we can see her. So now, if I play this video from Lorna's entry, there we go. So we've got all 3 videos appearing here. And all you need to do all the way along is just keep going, matching the video, layering. The best one to layer is just 4 videos on the screen because you've got that center point there to help you. So I'll just do that. Since we've got 4 trombones, I'll go into the next section. Okay, so because we've already got Lorna here, we can use that to our advantage. So we can just stretch her video all the way along here. But because I don't want her full video and I'm going to be editing all the video, I can hit and press Command B to blade the video. So this video here will stay in that 1/3 that we've got, but this one here I can play about with a bit more and move the video. So I'll highlight this one, I'll hit transform, and I'll make her video a bit smaller, and I'll move her up to the top corner. So you can see the flashes of the yellow lines here when I'm moving the video about. So I'll just place her in the top corner. I will then go to crop, and I will move this in. It will snap automatically into the center, and the same with this bottom one here, just like that. So it was already there, which is fine. We then have Bernie, so I'll get her to her trombone solo. So that's the start of the trombone section. I'll just check. Okay, so she's a little bit fast. So I'll move her over. And double check she's in the right position. Still a little bit too fast, I'll move her back. There we go. So I'm happy with her position there, so I can get rid of her audio. And then I can edit her video so we can see Lorna and Bernie at the same time. So using this tool again, transform, I'll need to move her over a little bit just to get that tool in there. Move her up to the top. And I will use my eye to line up with Lorna's video there. So just to double check that this line is totally straight, turn this off, have a look. Yep, that looks quite straight. And I'll just use the crop tool just to make sure that her video is right on those lines as well. So we've got another 2 trombone players to add in. So here's Callista. Select the section I want. There we go. So So the good thing about this is if your video is too short or too long, you can always just click and drag it in your project underneath as well. So let me just play here, see if she's in time. So she's a little bit behind already, so I'll just move this and move it up to move her forward. Still a bit behind, a little bit more. Tiny bit behind. Move in. Move her back. If you want a more precise trim, you can always zoom in a little bit, and that gives you the tiniest, less than a second to work with as well. So you can always zoom into the project and zoom out as well, just to get a cleaner cut. So let me just check this now. There we go, perfect. So get rid of her audio, and the same thing as well, we'll just transform and crop the video so we can see the other three. So Callista's quite far away from her camera, so I can actually make her a bit bigger. Move her into a position that I'd like her to be in. And using the crop tool, get rid of all the extra space around her so we can see just her. There we go. So she's matched up perfectly to the lines. You can see that there's now a little gap here. So what I'm going to do is go back to Bernie and move her video down just to close that gap. Just like that. And because she's now out of line with Lorna, I'll need to move Lorna's video down too. There we go. Now, there's a little gap up here now. So I'll need to fix Bernie's just to match and crop to make sure it's perfectly center. So it's just one more trombone player to add in, which is Mr. Seath. He's over here. So there's the last section there. Pop his video in here. That is the last note of the last section, so I know just to get rid of that. Let's try this. There we go. Get rid of his audio, again, transform and crop. So Mr. Cease's video has also got a lot of empty space in it, so we can keep him quite big in the focus of the video. And then again, crop the extra empty space out the way. Just like that. So now you can see all four trombone players. So when you play it, it will look like this. So Lorna's video cut off there because it's not dragged all the way along, so I'll just simply click and drag that because I want her to carry on. There we go. So that's all four trombone players playing in there. So they're all finishing at different points. And I'll stop it there because I want all of their videos to disappear at that point because the saxophones enter in there, and I quite like to show the saxophone players at this next bit. So there we go. So that's all matched up to the white marker. There we go. So all the videos will disappear then. And you'll keep going with that, and you'll keep layering until you're happy with it all. It does take a bit of time just to layer and add videos. Like I say, there is another tool called Motion that does help with this and make the process slightly quicker, but I just prefer using my eyes and ears and doing my own thing. So the next thing is step 8, adding some effects if you'd like to. So there's loads of different effects you can add. There's visual effects, and there's also transforming from one video to another sort of effect that you can. So you could probably do this at the end of your video when you're quite happy with the way everything is placed. So for example, like I mentioned earlier, I would like this logo to fade in and out as well with the writing at the beginning. So over here, we've got a tiny little button here, and this is all your transitions. So you've got lots of different options here. Again, if you hover over it and click on it and press your space bar, you can see how that transformation is going to work. So my favorite one here is the cross dissolve. It's just nice and simple. Clicking on it and it will go from one video to the other basically. Loads of different options as well. There's 360 options. There's like a sort of, there's 360 options there. Wiper effects, again, you can just kind of see what you'd like to use. Loads of different things there. So if we go back to the beginning, and I'll go to cross dissolve and stick it at the beginning, so it'll come up with a green little plus sign. If you just let that go when you're happy, it'll add the transition. And you can see that logo is now fading in and out with the text as well. Over here, it is automatically assumed that you'd like that to fade into Lorna's video. Now, it's up to you whether you want to keep that there or not, so we'll just have a look and see what it looks like. I quite like that. Some people might want just a direct hit, but we can just highlight it and press the backspace to get rid of it. So now, Lorna will just appear like that. So I would like these 3 videos here to transform into this bit here. So again, let's pick some different ones. So let's do that one. I don't want it at the beginning. Let's just pick some random ones, see what we've got. There we go. Get rid of that first one. I don't want it there. Let's try puzzle. And get rid of this transition. I don't want that there. And because Mr. Cease's video isn't coming from another video, we can just add one in to the top of his. So let's do mosaic. There we go. And you can shorten the transitions as well, so they're the same length as the others. So there we go. So all the transitions will finish at exactly the same time. So let's see how that looks now. Bit funky. The camera didn't know what to do there because there was a lot going on, but you can see all the things that are happening there, just like that. There is a lot going on. Preferably, I would just use one so everything's doing the same thing. So if I just show you how that will look. Like I say, my favourite one's cross dissolve. It's just nice and simple and easy on people watching as well. So I'll just add this cross dissolve in here. Add one onto Mr. Cease, but I'll shorten that. So this will look like this now. Nice and simple, nice and easy to watch. And you'll do that all the way along. If you quite fancy some black and white videos or a different effect, like a cartoon effect on your video, there's also this button here next to the transition button, which gives you lots of different options for the look of the video. So you've got aged paper here, aged film, alien lab, lots and lots of different things that you can play about with again. So we can do comic cool. So again, like the transitions, all you want to do is just click and drag on top of the video. There we go. So there. So we've got a comic sort of effect on top of Mr. Cease there. I'd like all these videos to have a little effect on top of them, because why not? We're playing about, we're experimenting, we see what looks good. If you've picked a theme song for your project, you can add all these little cool effects in. So for example, if you've picked a song that's originally from a comic book, I can't think of one off the top of my head just now, but you can add all these comic effects in to make it look like the players are in the comic, which is quite cool. So I'll just play it from back here so we can see. There we go. Looks quite questionable, but quite cool. I don't know. It's up to your personal opinion what you do here. Step 9, once you're happy with everything, is sharing the video. So I will just close this one down and reopen my final edit. So you might have a little bit of a heart attack when you see all the different layers that I've got going on. There we go. So I'll just zoom out of my project so you can see. There we go. So that's what the final video looks like. There is a lot going on in there just because there's so many layers. Obviously I've zoomed out so it looks very, very cramped. But here from the beginning, if I show you what it goes like. So here in my video, I had the rhythm section playing on the right hand side and the trombone's playing every second bar. So lots of different ideas and layering ideas that I did. So this one that we've stopped at, for example, if I go over, we've got the rhythm section down at the bottom here, and then I've got the saxophone playing because the saxophone's carrying the melody at that point, and the trumpet player is just doing little jabs. So all these little things make it interesting to watch, so it's not just the same layer all the time, but it's up to you to experiment as well. So the more you play about with Final Cut Pro, the easier it does get. Again, this does take a long time, but again, the final video that comes out of this is phenomenal. It really is worth doing. So I did all this layering just by using my eye and just deciding how small I wanted some videos to be and how large I wanted them to be, how much I want them to be highlighted. I chose the trombones here because they've got a really cool slide thing going on underneath the melody, so I wanted to highlight that. Just up to you about playing around and see what suits. If you're quite happy with all this but you want one final run through just to make sure it's absolutely the one, there is a button right here which expands the movie. So as soon as you click that and put your white marker at the beginning, it'll automatically start playing in full. So it's a little bit blurry just because it's not rendered down yet. Just like that, so you can see what's going on. And just to exit out of that, you hover over here and click this button here. So once you're happy with that, you're absolutely certain that that is it, nothing more can be done, it's an amazing piece of work that you've done, you can share it to make it one file. You've got the share button up in the top right hand corner here, so if you click that, you've got all these options of where you want to share it to. So you can make it compatible for a DVD. You've got a master file, which is what most people would do, but I've swayed away from that one just because when I save it as a master file, it takes up so much room because it is proper HD down to the fine wire. So I just stay away from that one. Compatible with Apple devices, you've got 720p, 1080p, 4K. The one I use is Prepare for Facebook, as it saves for every single type of device out there, but in 720p, and I find that that's fine for social media sharing. You can also link up your YouTube account and your Vimeo account, and there's also the other option to share it to someone else as well. So I'll just hit Prepare for Facebook, and it comes up with this screen here. So it's got your title of your video here, the description. If you're sharing it to YouTube, you might want to type in your own description. This is the one that comes up automatically, so we'll just get rid of this one. The creator who created it, and tags as well. Again, if you're sharing to Vimeo or YouTube, you might want to add tags so people can find your video better. So you can just add onto here. So I'll put Big Band as one of the tags and hit enter, and it'll add it as a tag. Settings as well. You've got your resolution that will come out of your compression. So you either want it to compress faster, or it will take a little bit longer but you'll get a better quality. Now I pick faster just because it will bring the quality down, but not so much that it will ruin it. It will still be a HD video, and the resolution as well. So Prepare for Facebook does not let you do 1080p. The HD that it will go to is 720, and I'm quite happy with that. Most people watch videos on their phones nowadays, so that's really all you need. And if you want to know more about how it's going to compress, then you can hit that button there. Once you're happy with all that, you can hit next, and it'll ask where you want to save the video to. So I'll go back into my external hard drive, and I want to save it in this Faith folder here. So I've already got Faith HD 720p that I did previously when we released this video, but I'll just put Faith second edit and hit save. Then that'll start rendering down the video. You probably want to leave Final Cut open just so it has time to render down. If you want to see how it's doing, this circle here used to have a tick in it, but now it's just a plain circle to show you that it is doing something. and it'll come up with a white bar as well. There you go, it's just changed there, a white bar to show you that it is doing something. You can click on this and it'll show you how far along the sharing is. So you just need to wait for that and it will save as a file. So once it's finished sharing, it will come up with a little notification on your device saying that it's shared successfully or there's a problem with it. You can just go back and try sharing it again if there is a problem, but it will save as a master file. So we'll just let it do its thing, and then I'll show you after it's done where it's shared to. So we've let our video share, and now we have the notification that it's shared successfully. So you can either close that notification or you can press show. And it'll open up the folder where you have sent the video. So you can just double click on that to make sure it's all rendered down and enjoy watching your masterpiece. There we go. So there it is, the 9 steps to creating your virtual ensemble. It does take time. It does take a lot of editing and tweaking and whatnot, but as you can see from the final video, it is absolutely worth taking that time to get it out. I really hope this tutorial has been helpful for you. What I didn't mention in the other video but put at the end is if you're wanting to give this a go, why don't you use this video here as a step-by-step tutorial. So pause the video and then play it as you're going along, just as a guide to help you create your final ensemble. But yeah, happy editing. Thank you so much for watching.